Hello again, it's Lock Noob, and this is a fun little lock. This is a BASI, I believe it's a German make, and I love the little detail of the elephant holding a key, one of my favourite lock logos, and this is the CX6A, I believe. It seems to have had a quality control check as well. I've had this lock for a surprising amount of time, actually. I just never have picked it on camera. What I like about it is it does have a very good bitting for a relatively standard Dimple lock. So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pins. But you can see how the first two are very high, then very low, then high, then very low, then high again. And it does matter in Dimple locks because clearly these very, very low cuts require virtually no setting at all and are prone to oversetting very, very easily. I've got to be careful when I take the key out. I partially disassembled this because it has a very strange sort of sprocketed cam at the back, and do you know what? I just don't want to fight with that on camera while I was gutting it. So what else can I say about the lock before I start picking it? Yeah. So, looking at the keyway, it made sense to me to work off this flat here and then slide the pick across. But I found that very difficult. In fact, this isn't flat. You can see quite clearly now, tip it, it's a ledge. And even though this is a very, very, very thin pick, the fact is, combined with that ledge, I'm oversetting those deep set pins very easily. So instead, I've decided to go for a well, for me, a slightly more unconventional approach, and that is to use a curved flag, which I believe I've got here. And the idea would be that I would use the curved flag to pick the pins from this side. Yeah. So, yeah, I don't normally use curved flags, but hey, if it works, right? Let's vice up and have a pick. Okay, we're all viced up. Got to add some tension. I'm going to do that clockwise, making sure that it feels nicely positioned, leaving a nice gap for this curved flag to slide down the tensioning tool as a guide. So let's just go in and see what we have in terms of binding pins going down the lock. It feels like pin 6 is the binder. So on pin 6, nice little click. Oh no, that felt like 5. This is 6 now. There we go. And really nice click off that. Pulling back, it feels like we're on pin 3. No, nice click. That was actually 4. That was 3. This is 2. Lovely. And then pin 1. Oh, then into a false set. Very nice. Okay, let's go back in. Start at the beginning. Somebody's holding us up, and it feels like pin 1. Ah, and we're open. Look at that, pin 1. So full set with pin 1, hit it, counter rotation, and now we're open. Let's continue to disassemble this lock. So I partially disassembled it. It's open, so let's lock it back up because I've got the key, so I don't need to try to preserve the open. Here we go. And okay, how are we going to do this? Key in the lock. And what I might do is I might fast forward at this point while I take it all apart. Okay, so what do we have here? Looks like all standard key pins. Not too much of a surprise, admittedly. And even though they didn't seem to fire off these spools, that's probably because, yep, they were actually in the positions which didn't need to be picked very much at all. So in a way, despite the extreme bitting, the spools didn't fire in positions 5 and 3 just because, yeah, 5 and 3, because they obviously didn't pick that far and didn't engage the spooling on the pin. Alright, so then you have 2 steel pins which have an anti-drill function, and those are really interesting. This is the one which did actually fire on the spool or engage the spool, and you can see that's like a really cool steel double spool. I really like that. I wasn't quite expecting that in this BASI CX6A, but it's nice to actually see it. I actually think that it's one of those examples where it might have benefited this lock to have had maybe just one standard pin, then all the rest spools. That way, I think this lock would have been a bit harder to pick, especially with that bitting. As it stands, the bitting was such that really, yeah, I think it just made it a bit easier to pick. And you can see here this weird, sort of repositionable cam thing. Anyway, there you go. I hope you found that interesting. That was a BASI CX6A, and I'll see you all next time.